Elevator walkway. This project was for the modifications of the existing. Myers Elevator walkway. This project was for the modifications of the existing steel. The project is complete. The access road from Cary Avenue down to the stadium can now be used for emergency vehicles during athletic events. The Solomon Stadium complex, the design of the project is on hold. The GAR roof chiller, the installation was tentatively scheduled to be complete before the end of May. However, due to the existing vibration isolator on the chiller unit not working properly, a change order has been forwarded to the board for $2,470.87. The purpose of the vibration isolator is to reduce noise and also vibration of the unit. Due to the lead time for the securing the isolator, the installation may not be complete until the end of June. The GAR re-roofing project, the project has resumed. We expect completion to be done before school starts in late August or early September. Project as of last Thursday was approximately 16% complete. We also did forward an email to the board about loose brick and copings on the exterior walls. These walls were the termination bars and the membrane flashing and the edge metal would tie into. And talking to the consultant from Masonry Preservation Services, they're recommending that if we do come upon any loose brick copings, that they be removed until where they're sound. I mean, we're still early in the roofing part of it. We're not going to be getting into any of these flashings or anything for probably at least 3 to 4 weeks yet. When we get into it, we're going to have to make a decision what we're going to do. I'll keep the board informed of what recommendations are at that time. The GAR shop room, the schedule and the scope of the interior renovations are to be determined. The GAR pilot program, the pilot program will have 2 phases. The first phase will be on the north elevation where the main entrance is. One section of wall, approximately 30-foot long. That work will start when school is out after June 9th, probably the following week. We expect completion of that to be before school starts in late August, early September. The second phase will be a section of the wall along Sherman Street. That phase will start sometime in June, but it's quite more extensive, the work, and we expect that to be complete at the end of November. This pilot program will provide photographic documentation and comments on each phase, detailed engineered drawings for future bidding, and the test results will be a standard of quality throughout the renovation project should the board decide to move forward with the rest of the project. The GAR stage steel repairs, what the project entailed was we did support the stage and we removed concrete columns beneath the stage. There's a walkway underneath there. We put new concrete columns in, and the steel that was deteriorated, we did remove that and put new steel in place. This project is complete. The new high school, we did forward a proposed test boring plan to the Department of Environmental Protection, the Bureau of Abandoned Mines Division. I did forward an email to the board May 9th. Basically, DEP is saying they will have a recommendation in the near future. When we get that and we start the drilling program, it will include televisual inspection of the borings. These will be forwarded to DEP once again for their comment. The Kistler project, the project is on hold due to an appeal.
Gary, I'm not sure. Go ahead. Gary, just real quick, the steps and whatever said, is that your GAR? Is that what you're talking about?
The stage?
Stage,
Yeah, what there is,
okay, I know how much, I guess it's look, but how much was that? How much was that project?
I don't have it here, but it was under the threshold. We didn't have to go out to public bidding. I know it was under the 19,000.
Okay, but my second question is, how much have we spent on GAR construction? How much have we spent on this building when it comes to construction and maintenance and so on? So, in the year 2017 so far?
Yeah.
Ballpark.
I know the roofing is 600 and some thousand. The pilot phase, which we're going to do now, is 600,000. They're estimating, it's a rough estimate on the outside of the building.
What's that estimate?
That estimate is $9 million.
Thank you.
And, Mr. Evans, the email that Joseph pulled to me was that the award would not exceed $14,900.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, we've been talking about that for a while. Is the chiller itself here just waiting on the vibration isolator, or is that all one unit coming out?
Basically, what it looks like is a shocking absorber, and they have to be ordered. I think I put the quote in.
Yeah, you did. I just was wondering, I just want to get that fixed as soon as
Yeah,
possible.
it'll sit on, there's like support steel, and it'll sit on there, and then you have the unit sitting on there, and if you don't have it, it's gonna vibrate.
Are they making it, like, does the company make that to order?
I'm not sure if that's a stock item, but it is a 4-week lead time.
Okay. I just wonder if there's any possible way we could expedite working with the manufacturer is all. Something maybe we can look into. No?
No.
Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Salico? Thank you, Gary. Unfinished business. No unfinished business? Communications from citizens.
Thank you. Our first common speaker is John Sahosky. John, I'll remind everyone we have 5 minutes, and I'll give you the 1 minute warning when we close.
John Sahosky, Almond Lane. I'd like you guys to rethink the Bancroft plan again, to go use them. But if you guys aren't going to do that, could you guys please do some kind of public tours to the buildings, like for the people at least, so everybody could at least see, that the buildings are as bad as everybody says they are. And I don't want a tour just for myself. I just want anybody who would like to be able to see those buildings to actually see what's going on in them. That's all I have.
Dr. Costello, as a matter of setting up building tours, is there a security issue that we've had? We have to do it after hours when kids want to go?
I would think at this time, after hours, probably after graduation, would be the best thing. We're testing right now for key stuff. So it wouldn't be during the day, but I would have an issue with doing it after hours
Next is Dr. Holliday.
I can do it right from here. We've had repeated requests to have a meeting in March. I mean, is this out of the question altogether? And that might be a good time to have a tour, to satisfy that. But from what I've read, it looks like this is a permanent location for board meetings. Help me out with that. And will there be a meeting in March?
Dr. Holliday, I decide monthly, the president of the board decides monthly, and we never made a decision to have every meeting here. We make the decision as the months go by. If it's gonna be really hot, we like to be somewhere where it's air conditioned. So, Myers isn't out of the question, it's just that now we're in the hot season, maybe in the fall, I'm thinking, but hopefully, it'll be somewhere else next month. It won't be here every single month. Okay?
Thank you.
Next is Lois Grimm. Grimm.
My name is Lois Grimm. I'm a resident of South Wilkes-Barre, and my son is a 7th grade student at my high school. Please feel free to look at photos I gave you as I speak. These photos were gathered by me, other parents, and several students over the course of the past 2 months. They're photos of Myers High School. I trust you'll find these photos as disturbing as I did when I saw them, not only for their content, but for the lesson behind the photos. Each of these photos show problems that can be easily remedied, from a dirty window to a dead mouse in the cafeteria during lunch period. These things don't have to be this way, it shouldn't be this way. The photos detail the neglect Myers High School has suffered for many years. Peeling paint, broken door handles, broken lockers, dust, dirt, cobwebs, and garbage. There's no sense of pride in these photos. These photos reflect a culture of apathy, neglect, and resignation in not just this school, but in the district. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. The culture of the district and how it trickles down into every seat a student sits in at every school you will oversee. Since my children began in Wilkes-Barre Area School District in 2010 and 2013, I've been observing interactions between any combination of the following: parents and families, teachers, administration, and the school board. It's hard to boil down 7 years of experiences to a single word, but if I had to name one, it would be fear. Fear of speaking up, fear of retribution, fear of bullying, fear of making change, fear of standing up and saying what one thinks. This fear manifests itself in many ways, but probably the most malignant way it shows up in our schools is apathy. When members of every part of the school system feel afraid, they become disenfranchised. They feel voiceless, and honestly, right now they are. So, you might be thinking, what does this have to do with the photos I handed to you? These photos are the visible symptoms of a school district that does not value or utilize all its moving parts. Number one is obviously the building itself. A valued item does not look this way. Number two are your people. The people employed by the district, the people sitting in the classrooms every day, the people teaching in those classrooms every day, the community members coaching your students every day, the community members raising money for your students' sports and extracurricular teams every day. I have another set of photos. Now, I want you to look at these photos. These photos feature the Wilkes-Barre Area STEM Academy, located at Myers High School. The academy is made up of students from Myers, Coughlin, GAR, and Bear Creek Community Charter School. As you look at these photos, furniture, paint, chalkboards, whiteboards, computers, 3D printers, and various other equipment items were bought with money from teachers or grants. Grants that were not written by this district, rather they were written by teachers and other interested parties. Another thing I want to point out, as you look at the photos, you'll see the labor of students, past and present. STEM students are invested in this area. They even started hanging photographs on the walls. It's their home away from home. We have Penn State professors coming into this area to teach our students. Think about that. Think about the amount of work and prestige a program must have in order to have professors from a state university come here and teach our kids. And this was all done without taxpayer money. This is what happens when you engage teachers, students, and the community in your school. When people feel like stakeholders in something, they want to help out. They want to see it succeed. Unfortunately, the culture of the Wilkes Area School District does not foster this type of relationship between stakeholders. I've asked this several times before, but I implore you, as leaders of this district, to begin a top-down initiative to make this district into a community district. When parents ask for programs to be a part of, we want to have input. We don't want to be told how to raise our kids or be treated as people who don't understand the importance of education. When a teacher has an idea or a solution to a problem, he or she should be allowed to come to this podium and discuss it. When a custodian needs tools to do his job, he should be able to get them. And when community members want to be a part of the fabric of this district, they should be welcome. We need true transparency in this district. And the first step in that transparency process is to throw the doors wide open and say, what are your ideas? And then listen. Thank you.
Lois, thank you for bringing those tonight. At the very least, they're absolutely disgusting, to say the very least. I'm embarrassed, and I believe we have a lot of cleaning up to do down there. I don't believe for a second, and I'm not calling out anyone a liar, I understand that the school is filthy. Mrs. Borland, Attorney Borland, they all came to us with that issue. We have just reorganized the custodial maintenance for Reverend Walker can get into that more extensively, but I promise you that school will be clean. I promise you. There's already corrective action taken in that school. And you have my promise that school will be clean. Reverend Walker can get into the new changes made.
Lois and I have been going back and forth over the last week and a half about some of this stuff. So I tried to fully explain in the last couple of meetings what we've been doing. And I think Lois even indicated to me last week that, hey, I went back in and a lot of the pictures I took the first time have been repaired. Things are looking better. She wanted to share that on Facebook. I asked her if she would hold off because I wanted to share it tonight during my report. But since this came up, I'll just briefly mention it. And to the point about culture, and you're absolutely right. And I know people that work in this district from all levels, teachers, custodians. It doesn't matter. And you're right. There's a culture of I don't want to say anything because I'll end up teaching in the basement of some school somewhere. In working with Dr. Costello, I've learned that culture really doesn't exist in his mind, and that any professional faculty or staff member within this district can come to him, or if it's a building issue, me. I've said this time and time again. I'm accessible to anyone via Facebook Messenger. I do my best, and I think I do a pretty good job of responding. And I don't want to not know about issues. Ignorance is only bliss for the ignorant. Everyone else still suffers. So we actually utilized one of the SOS members' suggestions. Dr. Mark Shiwitz, who I don't believe is here tonight, he made a suggestion via email to our superintendent, who then brought it to my attention, that we might want to do like an all-hands-on-deck approach to Myers High School, because it's clearly the building that needs the most help, work, and support due to things like culture, et cetera. And so we did that. And Mr. Biniak, who was here tonight, informed me at our committee meeting on Monday that we had, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Ed, about 90 hours extra allotted to that school. And we cleaned bathrooms, hallways, repaired some lights, and so that process will continue. The things that you have, well, I can't say everything because I don't know, but there is a list full of items that we are checking and rechecking and rechecking and recheck to make sure that they are done. If those, just so you know, if they are not done, we are actually holding people accountable. So there is a write-up and document process, and we have made it clear that discipline will be up to and or including termination. So we clearly have taken a different approach. We're not playing around with any building, but that building certainly needs the most help. So we talk about sometimes how your words fall on deaf ears. It's not. Just keep taking the pictures, keep telling me about the problems. We'll continue to add it to the list, and we'll continue to work through it.
Can I just make one suggestion?
No.
As far as hearing all the voices of everyone involved in the school, from custodians, teachers, paraprofessionals, and such, I mean, there's still a stigma that people can't speak their mind publicly. Like you've never seen a teacher here saying something. And I think that maybe, there should be an organized effort on the part of the board to invite teacher and paraprofessional, custodial.
Well, I haven't talked to any of the board members about this. I haven't even talked to the superintendent about it yet. But I had an idea because I saw that post from the young lady at, was it Coughlin, I think? I saw that post from her, and I know there was talk that she was going to get in trouble or something like that, which I don't believe that she did. But I do appreciate her voice, and then it led me to think that if that's one, then it's probably many, 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 right? And I don't know what the answer is to that other than communication. I mean, I don't know what the answer is other than to communicate, to talk. And so I have from time to time been in all of the schools to speak at different events, Martin Luther King, et cetera, et cetera. And I was perfectly willing to go in as a board member and let them yell at me and talk to me and voice their opinion and document and see what we could do about it so they could at least feel like they could get stuff off their chest. But it's just a recent idea that I had. I haven't talked to anybody about it. It's been a very busy week at work. But anyway, to your point, I think there needs to be some kind of facilitation of dialogue for students and perhaps for the professional staff as well.
And if I could just speak for one moment, Ms. Grimm, just so you're aware, when probably, I'm going to look at right there, probably back on the very first day that we had a football game. I want to go back to September of the school year. I was going to all the games, and as I began going to the games, I noticed that the grounds area, not inside the school, outside the school, was clearly not acceptable to what I would expect our team, our coaches, our community to deal with. And at that point, we expected some things to change, and on the outside, they began slowly changing. As we began to move forward, I looked to Reverend Walker as he was chair of the committee, and I asked him, how can we, he knew what my vision was, and I wanted to show him that, different schools have different environments. This school here itself doesn't look like what you showed, which is embarrassing, horrendous, and everything else that you could say in regards to that. So we've really gone on an initiative to begin going through the proper procedures to change that environment, that culture, because everybody deserves better than what you're showing right there. And we're not talking about structural issues there, we're talking about cosmetics and just keeping clean and taking pride in your building. And I think that, I always say to Reverend Walker, you know, my words are one thing, but you have to judge me on my actions. And I think that the last 3 months, fair to say that we have most certainly gone to the task of trying to change a lot of what you've shown, because obviously our kids deserve better. When you do speak to us, I think Reverend Walker just briefly mentioned this, you know, we're constantly taking suggestions, we listen, we don't just dismiss. You know, there was a letter that I received from Dr. Wilkes, and you know, it had a great idea. It said, you know, why don't we try to tackle some of this with the task force? I talked to Reverend Walker about it, we brought it up to our committee, Mr. Beanick enforced it, the next thing you know, we have a task force going on. Doesn't make it right for what has happened since September till now, but it's a start of where we plan on going, and you know, I hope it never looks like that again. As far as faculty or any employee or citizen or community, those who are sitting in the audience right now, I clearly have an open door policy. Anybody can speak to me, and I will meet with them. I will go over any questions, sit and listen. I'll go over any questions that they may have. I know Jeff Nye is in the back there, who's our president of our union. I constantly meet with Jeff. Sometimes we don't always agree or see eye to eye, but I encourage the fact that I'm willing to meet with his members and also all of our employees to try to get that information. And I could say at least for the members who do take advantage of me, and mean that in a positive way. They reach out, they tell me when something's going on or something that they believe can be better. We most certainly act upon it, and we do change it. So I always encourage our staff and employees to reach out to me. Thank you.